Hey, good morning, everybody. It is BCB Live here on BCB Live, the safest station in the nation. Hey, it is a little bit after Christmas.
It's
And
Monday. It's BCB Live on Monday.
It is. And you know what? It is a couple of days after Christmas. Uh, Drive Safe Dave here, along with Double Check Dale. And we've got the producer on the boards, manning the boards today. Was not here on Friday. I struggled greatly getting the boards managed, but I'm glad he's back today. And did you have the big questions? Did you have a good Christmas?
Had a wonderful Christmas. Had a great Christmas. And yourself?
Yeah, I had a really good Christmas this holiday season, and had some family over on Christmas morning. Got a quick story to tell you. So my brother had surgery just a few days ago, last week, and so my stepfather went over to pick him up, and then they were bringing him to the party early in the morning. We had breakfast at my house for the whole family. I think we had 17 people there.
Nice.
I made a big breakfast for everybody. It was a lot of fun, cooking everything, but they were running a little bit late, and so my stepdad, he's 84, and so he's not there on time, and we're concerned. So they had accidentally pulled into the neighbor's driveway and gone on into the house because they just weren't, it was Christmas. They walked in, they go in and they sit down in the living room, and my neighbor comes out and sees them in there and says, "Merry Christmas." and my brother goes, "Oh my God, I'm in the wrong house." And my neighbors, they're great. She was like, "Oh yeah, where were you trying to get it?" She said, "The Dover." She goes, "Oh, those are our neighbors next door. You've come in the wrong." She goes, "Oh my God, we're so embarrassed." She goes, "Oh no, we're getting a selfie." So they got selfies taken in the morning, having gone into the wrong house, and then they come back over. That's a great story. Their neighbors are awesome. She sent me a text that very day and said that the dogs had licked them as all had done. They didn't bark at all, just to come up and licked my dad and my brother. And so my brother had come over, and we were visiting and all joking about it. He was like, "Well, this is a lot of fun, but it was more fun over at the other house." So that's just crazy that happened. And what a great Christmas spirit to just come out and see two strangers sitting in your living room. And
go Merry Christmas, or who the heck?
Yeah, we're not upset at all. Just hey. And you know what? They're awesome next door. And, of course, my dad, he's on a walker. It's not like they were too scared.
Like, we got to run. We got to get out of here.
It was some run. All you had to do was just walk, and he's not catching you. But, yeah, it was a good time. We had a good Christmas. We played, have y'all ever played left, right, center? Have y'all ever done that? Everybody gets $3, and you roll these dice. They have a left, LRC, and a dot on them. And as you roll the dice, you either hand dollars to the right or to the left, or you put it in the pot, or you keep it, right? And then at the end of the day, we had 17 people playing, so each pot was like pretty good money. And we played that on Christmas. It was a lot of fun, and I won one. I think when you win, I think I won like $40 each time you win, and you're in for $3. I think we had everybody come in for six. We had everybody bring like $15. So it was a lot of fun. We had joking around, having a good time. Pretty fun game. I recommend it to everybody to have in a big group because laughing. We had a really just hysterical time with it, goofing off, playing around. So pretty fun game. Other than that, producer, did you have a very good Christmas, sir?
It was decent. It was fairly nice. Went over to my uncle's on Thursday. Got to see some of my family over there. Haven't seen them in a long time. My parents actually came up from
What's
Corpus.
A long time? I mean, I'm just curious.
It's like a few.
When I say a long time and you say a long time, We talking 20 years, right?
Okay, well, I mean, I've
15,
seen
20,
my
yeah.
parents in the last 20 years. I'm gonna go out on a limb and say I have seen my parents in the last 20 years.
Well,
Okay.
I get that. I just meant when you say a long time, do you mean this year? I mean last year?
Yeah, like a long time. So I mean, I'm pretty close with my family. Typically, we try and get together for almost every occasion that we can. You know, we'll get together and have the aunts and uncles and grandparents over for birthdays and whatever. So
Right, I got
it's
you.
been a little while. I think at the last time I saw them was like August, which is pretty long for.
So a long time is 4 months for seeing your parents, then, right? So it's not like 20 years.
Yeah, no, it's not like 20 years. Not like 20 years.
You didn't do like a small stint in jail and then get out.
No, no new cases under me or anything
Yeah.
like that. I'm fine. Yeah, we're all right. But no, it was pretty fun. We went over to my uncle's house. He made some ribs, and we were
Oh, that
eating,
sounds
having
good.
a good time.
Sounds
Yeah,
good.
throwing a football around and watching some Christmas specials. We
I'm
handed
a big
out
Christmas
presents.
Special. Are you a big Christmas special guy?
Yeah, we watched. That's one of the things we did on Christmas Day. Is we passed the remote around. We each had to pick a Christmas special or a Christmas show to watch, and so that was kind of interesting. You know, I went with the classic. The kids are a lot younger than me. Went with some of the newer stuff. Can't say I'm overly fond of some of the stuff we watched this year. So
What did you get? What's your? Do you watch Christmas classics? What did you-
Yeah, I'm a Charlie Brown Christmas kind of guy.
Oh, of course
Yeah.
you are. Yeah,
Yeah.
you said that. You're a Charlie Brown Christmas guy. I'm
Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, man.
Oh,
The old
yeah.
classic with Burl Ives, a little bit of songs, you know, a little bit of
I don't know.
singing.
I'm a Christmas Carol guy. I gotta watch.
Yeah, no,
Charleston.
we know you recite it every day,
Yeah.
and every time you do it, it's all about
Charles
Scrooge.
Dickens.
My wife
Oh,
hates
yeah,
it.
we
My wife
got it.
hates me reciting the show. These are the change I forced in life.
Hey, remind me next year. I'm gonna get you.
Huh?
I'm gonna get you like a little skull next year, so you can hold it up and
That's-
recite all your Shakespeare
Oh my
stuff
God,
and all that at
that's,
Christmas.
That's Shakespeare.
No,
sir.
I know, I hear you. So I gotta say, I'm gonna ask this question because it was asked to me whenever I was doing Christmas. So, whenever you're wrapping presents,
Mhm.
are you wrapping presents or is someone else wrapping presents?
Oh,
Whenever.
my wife's.
Okay.
I'm a good Christmas rapper. But I have to do the hard stuff. I have to like put the star on top of the tree, and I have to go fight with Frosty out in the yard, and I have to stake things down, and there's certain responsibilities that comes with the job of being the dude, right? And I'm not trying to be. I just feel like my wife has to give me those things to make me proud of myself. Certain responsibilities. I gotta wear those with a little bit of badge of honor.
Oh, I hear you. And you know what? I didn't get to wear a badge of honor this Christmas because my one job was to go and buy the wrapping paper and buy the bags to wrap all these presents or whatever for everybody. So I show up and it's Thursday. No, it's Christmas Eve at this point.
Right.
And I show up back at home. Chelsea's like, all right, we're gonna go. We're gonna get there early. Because we're always late to the family gatherings. We're gonna get there early today. And I'm like, I didn't wrap the one present that I had to get because we take names for everybody to
How
get
do you
one
not
present
wrap
for
the
somebody.
You just put
So,
it in a
well,
bag now. I mean, you
I
don't even have to
didn't
wrap.
get a bag. The problem was I didn't get a bag.
You don't even.
The problem was I didn't get a bag. So I go. She's like, well, what do you have? And I'm like, well, I think I have some tape. I've got some scissors. She's like, do you have anything that we can wrap this in?
Newspaper is good.
But I don't have newspaper in the house. So she goes into my pantry. She pulls out a brown like grocery bag and she's like, okay, this is what we're gonna do. She starts chopping it up with scissors. I grab my duct tape from my car because that's the only tape that I have. So I wrapped my grandpa's gift this year in a brown paper grocery bag with duct tape, and it was a delight. It was wonderful. Drew some Christmas trees on it, and I didn't feel good about it, but I was like the.
You know what? As long as it got wrapped, you can solve a lot of ills in the world with duct tape. I'm just going to tell you, I have fixed a lot of things that shouldn't have been fixed with duct tape in my lifetime on a truck or on a load or on a tarp or something. I've done things that you probably should not do in the safety realm with duct tape, but I have made it work with a big roll of duct tape. Good that you carry a roll of duct tape in your car. You can actually solve some problems in the world.
Duct
It
tape
solved
and baling
my
wire.
problem.
If you can't
Little
fix it,
baling wire, little pair of pliers and crimp it off. Oh yeah, twist that thing. You can make a lot of things work. All right, so big news yesterday. Cowboys won last night. I don't know if anybody saw that. They won big. They kind of beat down. Actually, they kind of beat down the Skins yesterday. I think it was 56-14. I think it was 56 points by the third quarter, and they just pulled some of the players. And man, I tell you what, they gave them a resounding beatdown. Clinched basically the division, and they had already done a title. I mean, they had already done the playoff game, but they clinched basically the division, and they're looking for a first round bye.
First round bye, and
that's what they're trying.
Home field advantage.
So next week we play the Cardinals, and then we have the Eagles left. So we got two important games. Eagles won yesterday big over the Giants, so going to be a good game coming up with those. And the Cardinals don't look as solid as they did the very first of the year. They've lost several games in a row. They seem to be falling apart here on the final stretch. I'm hoping that to be the case when we play them next week. I hope they continue that little bit of self-destruction, what they got going on. Also, do y'all see how many bowl games there are? Have y'all seen that?
You mean how many bowl games there are not?
Yeah, that's what I was going to talk about. I was going to say, so they got bowl game, but this is the bowl game season, but there's a lot. There's normally like 40-something bowl games, 44 bowl games. There's going to be a lot that aren't played this year, right? Producer, there you had mentioned that there was going to be a lot of people are backing out due to COVID, right?
Yeah, so I mean, as Omicron spreads, and I hate to be the person to bring up everything because it's almost the new year. I would hope that we would be kind of over some of this stuff, but yeah, I mean, so many players are getting pulled out because they're testing positive for COVID that most of the teams don't even have enough players to play the game. Forget about your backups and everybody else. I mean, nobody. You're getting pulled out,
and now more teams are falling to the wayside because they can't do it because of so much COVID-19 positive testing and protocols that are in place, and it is really. I mean, people are catching the disease. By the way, people are getting the variant. People are getting it all across the world. It matters not whether you are. It doesn't matter on getting it if you've been vaccinated or not. It does, however, on its long-term effects and or its intensity.
Severity.
Yeah, the severity of the disease. So. I do still recommend. I personally recommend that you go get vaccinated or the booster. I went on Thursday and got the booster. So it was time. I had to get one done, and I had no ill effects from the booster. So some have, but I didn't. But it was not too bad of a thing. Let's see. What did you hear about in Wisconsin 100-car pileup? Was that yesterday?
That was actually on Thursday, I believe.
Thursday. They came out originally as 100 cars, but they said it was closer to 40 vehicles, 50 vehicles. Nevertheless, big pileup, large pileup.
Oh, is that right? Yeah, I originally read it was 100, right? I think the article said 100, but you know what? We here in Dallas-Fort Worth have seen something similar to this when the roads get icy. No one can stop, and it just continues to pile up, pile up, and pile up. You got to be cautious.
That goes back to that speed and space and being able to stop in the distance you have in front of you, being able to manage that. I mean, wow, it was a heck of a thing. I don't believe anybody got killed in that one, though, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I know. But it looks bad enough,
Yeah, I mean, nevertheless, it's a while to sort that out. I mean,
it looks bad enough, and it caused it to be closed for a while to clean that up up there in western Wisconsin on I-94. I think they said around the 80 something mile marker.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, also a couple of things in the news. Desmond Tutu, you know who that is?
From South Africa, if I'm not mistaken.
He died. He passed away this weekend, right at age 90. Very
instrumental in apartheid.
Absolutely. Probably as much, if not more so, than Mandela in the in going after apartheid there in South Africa, righting some of the wrongs and doing some of the things that needed to be done. I tell you what, very, always a happy guy. I mean, I tell you, you always had a great spirit and pretty awesome individual in that country, and the things that he had done to help bring about an ending to the persecution in that country. Also, Turkey changing its name. Yeah. Does anybody know how the proper pronunciation now? Is it just spelled differently now, or is it going to be pronounced differently?
I have no idea. From the article that I read, it just seems like Turkey wants to change their name. There's a significance behind it, but right now it is now Turkiye, I think is how you say it.
Turkiye.
So it's Turkiye. That came out, I believe, a couple days ago. The minister came out and announced they're going to change the name for the English pronunciation only.
Wow.
Interesting.
Okay.
Interesting. Well, am I glad I'm here to learn?
I mean, you're
stuff
talking
like
about
this.
it. You're talking about a country that's been there since the Ottoman Empire, right? I mean, you're
Around a long
yeah.
time.
I mean, it's been ever since the fall of, if I'm not mistaken, Constantinople.
And so when you say long time, it's more than 20 years this time, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, it's a Turkish
100% long time. I mean, we're all of Constantinople. Yes, and they didn't change its name. Constantinople. Do you know when Constantinople changed its name
To Istanbul or Istanbul to
Istanbul?
Okay, yeah.
Istanbul.
No, I don't.
It was in the 30s, I believe, in the 1930s. So it hasn't been that long. People think that the old word. So changing names is actually very common, from what I understand. Rebranding countries and stuff like that. They do that for whatever reason, especially to help identify or re-identify the country in a significant way. I think the English version of the Turkey is just a bad way to look at it, right? So I think that it was just some of the weird. I don't know. It's you know what? It's not. It is a Western country. They're one of our allies. If people don't know that, we have military bases located in Turkey now. So, and they are a NATO power, and they are on our NATO alliance, North Atlantic Treaty Organization. Speaking of out there in the West, Russia. Did anybody read that article on Russia supply line chain?
That is all you. Our insider, our White House insider, can give us a little bit more about that.
Okay, so there is a major gas pipeline that pumps gas from Russia all the way into Europe, Germany, through Poland, and into Germany and into Western Europe. And that pipeline feeds a very important supply line to feed especially during the cold, because a lot of the cold is run and a lot of the heat is run on gas. So, but what Russia has been doing of late, they're building another pipeline, plus they're wanting fixed rates. They don't want to be varied rates like they are right now, which is based upon solely the price of fuel across the country, right, or across the world. So that what they're trying to do is they're trying to get fixed rates, guaranteed rates, and what they've done is they're squeezing the West. And so they've cut the supply down to 4%, something like that. And they're making, and so the 1,700% markup, and I mean, you're talking about, and let me just tell you, here we are. Don't get me started on the Russians, okay? I mean, if you want, you want to get me started on these guys, it is not going to be good, because I'll talk ill of these guys all day long. They plan. You know what? Have you ever played chess with a Russian? They're actually very good at chess. And the reason I mention that is they plan everything. They don't do anything without a plan, guys, and they always have. And they're very formidable in any type of stuff like that. When it comes to, I don't know, they're just very sneaky. Can I say they're sneaky? Can I say that on here?
Yeah, maybe we should move to a break here. Maybe we should move to a break after that one.
All right, I'll tell you what. We'll be back in We'll be back in a couple of minutes, right after this word from our sponsor. Hey, everybody! It's Drive Safe Dave here with BCB Live, the safest station in the nation. As you know, winter is upon us, and with winter comes some difficulties and challenges. Now, if you live below or running below that 20 or I-10 corridor, you may not feel that pressure, but if you do, let's talk about a few little tips that we have. Tip number one, let's make sure we get over here and we drain these air tanks. Let's get that moisture out of there so that we make sure, because moisture and freezing cold temperatures don't mix. All they make is ice. Tip number two, remember when air temperature drops, so does pressure in these tires. You want to make sure that when you enter into or near cold temperatures, you make sure that your tire pressure is and cold pressure stays correct throughout these cold temperatures. You want to be safe out there because this is where the rubber meets the road. Tip number 3, if it's extreme weather and extreme cold conditions, you may want to make sure that you use an anticoagulant or an anti-gel inside the diesel fuel so that it thins and doesn't gel up on you in the lines or anywhere else. Tip number 4, as you know, when you enter into the West, there are certain regions that require you to have snow chains and or snow socks in that region. Make sure that you carry them. And tip number 5, I'm going to give this one to you as a freebie. Carry with you a little bit of cat litter in your truck. That way, if you get a little bit stuck or if you get near a region that doesn't have a lot of grip, you can throw that down and give your truck that needed oomph to get out of those sticky or slippery situations. For more pertinent and safety information, you can always tune in Monday through Friday, Central Standard Time between 7 and 8 a.m. and get that needed information on BCB Live, the safest station. All right, we're back. BCB Live, the safest station in the nation. Hey, did you see how many people were stranded this holiday season due to airline traffic and airline cancellations? There was, I don't even know, what was there, hundreds?
As they said, over 8,000 flights were canceled. I mean, you know, and it wasn't weather, which 8,000 is a lot, but a major weather event in a couple hubs can cancel and cause more delays than that. But it's really about the COVID thing because they're having trouble getting crews and flight crews and stewardesses and getting in there, and that's really what was causing a lot of delays this time around. So not a lot of fun if you travel this week. You know anybody that got stranded?
I don't know anybody personally that got stranded, but I heard from people that did know people. So I know somebody that knows somebody. But there were many people that were stranded over the holidays and that didn't get where they needed to go for the Christmas season, which is not too bad. But a lot of people were traveling. I mean, there was a lot of people out there traveling, and a lot of people out there on the road as well. And there'll be people coming home this week still. I mean, some people have taken. There's a few people a lot of people take this week off. You know, between the holidays, a lot of people find ways to figure out how they want to take off that time between Christmas and New Year's, and so there will be continued travel throughout this week. And speaking of airlines, you know, we here in trucking, we also have airlines, and those are on your truck. Yep. So make sure that you check those on a regular basis because we want to make sure that your airlines aren't chafing. Right?
That's right.
And that they are free from being snagged and things like that. You know,
the connections are good, that they're not leaking air or something. So I mean,
that's a good idea. No air leaks are good on airlines.
Yeah,
it's a good habit to have. But you know, and that's not a good sound to hear when you're out there. And I think most of us have actually heard the air leaks out there on the deal. So what have you got going on? It is going to be a little different this week. It's going to be me and you, right, for a couple of days?
It sounds that way. It sounds that way. So what I got going on, just a lot of stuff going on, catching up with the safety. And this week's topic, we're going to hit on inspections, and so airlines.
That's what's coming up right after the hour. But before that, we've got the weather. Did you see the weather out west over the weekend and out all last week and over the weekend and right there in Donner Pass? I think they got 12 feet of snow in Donner Pass. That is without question a ton of snow in 12 feet of snow up there, and I think it's continuing into this week, right? I mean,
there's still some snow going on up there, so yeah.
I mean, you know, I'll tell you what, if you're out that way, avoid Donner Pass, avoid the Sierra Madres, take the southern route, go down to Barstow. I'm just saying, Barstow, go through Tehachapi. I don't think they're having any problems in Tehachapi Pass at this time of year. I think it's still very warm down there. So, but be very careful up there because they are getting hammered, right? In what they're doing, and it is really a weather event of proportions up there in the mountains right now. And I'm okay with them getting a lot of snow up there this year, but you know, wow, on the road and what have you. I'll tell you what, it is time for the phrase that pays. Have you seen the phrase that pays?
I have not seen the phrase.
I'll tell you what, we've got a fantastic phrase that pays this week. The producer has: this new year, take action to make the road safer for everyone. this new year, take action to make the road safer for everyone.
That is the phrase that pays.
That is the phrase that pays. You know, it has the right meaning. Do you know what does that mean to you?
It just means that we have to do our jobs out there. We have to be the professionals. We have to take time, and we have to be safe, and we have to, because by protecting our own lives, we help protect other lives.
Yeah, it is something that you have to do. It's something you can't just talk about. It is a take action statement. It is going out there and finding a way to be safer, do more, find a way to be different this time than you were last time. Find a way to be better.
Get better. That's exactly
get what?
It. To get better, just to keep improvement. You know, we look at stop signs. I mean, you know, I catch myself driving into work every day. Stop at the stop sign whether anybody's around. You get better. It's constantly. You make a habit out of it.
Yeah, and those should be the same stop signs you see every day, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, the ones that you go to work, you know, and those are the ones that we don't.
We get complacent.
Yeah, those are the ones we feel like we don't have to stop at, right? Because we know, I got this. I know this path. I do this path all the time. That's when we get in trouble, right?
Yeah.
When we believe we think we know everything and we're not doing it right. So you've got to really make a difference and change the way you do things. And I'll tell you, you can't get complacent. And you can't get complacent on those signs that you see every day and pretend they're not there, right?
That's right.
That they don't apply to you. But and when actually they do apply to you.
They apply to everybody. There's a reason they're there. I mean,
there is
not
a
suggestion, I believe.
Yeah, those are not a suggestion. Those signs are not a suggestion. So you want to make sure that you do that. Hey, that is a great phrase. We'll be back in just a minute or a minute and a half with Double Check Dale and the weather and traffic, right?
Yeah, there you go.
All right.
You're watching BCB Live, the safest station in the nation. BCB Live covers freight. Here we are now at 21% of record freight being rejected. News
down in Texas. We're going to talk a little bit about this. We had another $1.5 million seizure. If ever there's a time to do a pre or post trip, it's if you're doing something wrong.
weather, traffic.
Hey, good morning, everybody. Welcome to some traffic and weather with Buckle Up Bob. You can kind of see where the visibility can be compromised a little bit. Again, right where that rain is.
And most importantly, safety.
One of the things that we must do is make sure that safety is the number one thing that we focus on.
Going into an intersection, yellow is not the way. That's to clear an intersection, not to enter an intersection.
Tune in weekdays from 7 a.m. to 8 a.m. Central Standard Time. You can watch BCB Live through LinkedIn, YouTube, or Facebook. So what are you waiting for? Subscribe today and follow BCB Live.
Hey, good morning. Welcome to the safety part of BCB Live in the morning. Monday morning it is after Christmas. Hope everybody had a great Christmas out there. We're going to take a look at some traffic and weather, and I got a feeling that traffic's going to be pretty light this week. And so we're going to start in Dallas-Fort Worth and looking at the traffic there. You know what? There is not much red or green or oranges anywhere in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. So it leads me to believe light traffic week going on. And so if you're in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, you have pretty wide open roads, no major tie-ups, slowdowns anywhere in the Metroplex right now. Going to Houston, same thing going down in Houston. Very light traffic, very little tie-ups. There is a slight one down on I-44, the inner loop, or I-45. The inner loop down in Houston looks like a little bit on the eastbound side. A slowdown of traffic, but other than that, I mean, there just is not much traffic going on down in Houston right now. Kansas City, you know, even when traffic is heavy, the traffic flows pretty good in Kansas City lately. And this morning, there is nothing to talk about in the Kansas City area. Everything is green there. So if you're in Kansas City, enjoy the ride this morning. Chicago area, even Chicago looks really good. The loop inside the 294 going in the downtown area looks really good this morning. So if you're in the Chicago area, everything coming into the city from the west looks really good. Everything coming in or going out to the east in Chicago looks good. Again, the only major or any tie-ups or slowdowns looks to be inside the 294 loop as you get close to the downtown area. Atlanta, wow, Atlanta, the loop looks fantastic this morning. The only slowdown you're going to see in Atlanta is probably down there around the airport on the south side of Atlanta on the 285 loop. Other than that, everything in Atlanta looks green, green, green. So if you're in Atlanta this morning, enjoy your commute. Philadelphia, even Philadelphia looks fantastic this morning. You know, just a little bit of here and there, some slowdowns, some tie-ups, but nothing major. There is no long solid streaks where you're going to see, you know, long delays or slowdowns. So if you're in the Philadelphia area this morning, enjoy your commute. Nashville. Nashville looks fantastic this morning too. Nothing going on. Usually we see, you know, the 2465 junction north of town, you know, usually see some slowdowns and tie-ups there. Nothing going on there. East Nashville looks fantastic this morning. 40 coming into town from both directions, wide open. Everything going south out of Nashville looks really good this morning. Washington, D.C. You know, I know Congress is on break right now, and so probably gives a little bit of it to it, but there's just no traffic going on out in Washington, D.C. The whole 95 loop, 495 loop looks really, really good. As we go up to Baltimore, you know, typically when we go to Baltimore, we talk around about the Townsend area, Parkville area being congested. Nothing going on in those areas this morning. So, you know, traffic looks really, really light in the Washington, D.C., Baltimore area also. Indianapolis, same story as every other city this morning. You know, really light traffic going on first day back after the holidays, and so, you know, people getting into it or maybe taking the day off. So traffic in Indianapolis really looks light this morning. Got a lot of good traveling there. So there you go with the traffic this morning. Over to the weather. Let's take a look at the wind right now. Right now the wind, we do have some wind starting to pick up a little bit. Major areas up in the North Dakota, South Dakota area coming down into northwest Iowa, southwestern Minnesota. Some winds going on there. I do know there's a high wind advisory up in the northwest part of Iowa and South Dakota, southeastern South Dakota, Sioux Falls area. So if you're up there on I-90 in South Dakota around Sioux Falls, you're going to see some winds up there, some pretty strong gusts up to 50 miles an hour. So be aware of that if you're up there. The other areas we're going to talk about a little bit of wind going on right now is the Front Range of the Rockies in New Mexico and southern Colorado, and then the Front Range of the Rockies in northern Colorado going up into Wyoming. Slow down, you're going to see some winds, some gusty winds on I-80 up there in Wyoming. Of course, we go out to the west, Reno and Donner Pass. The winds are starting to pick up a little bit there. As we go into the afternoon, the winds are starting to shift. What we talked about this morning, North Dakota and Minnesota and Iowa is starting to shift to the east a little bit, but they're not expected to die down until this evening. But you do notice that out in west in Utah, in Colorado, New Mexico, and Arizona, the winds are starting to intensify a little bit out there into the afternoon hours. If we go into the morning, tomorrow morning, let's back that up just a little bit, around 6 a.m. tomorrow morning. We're going to see some winds out there in the panhandle of Texas and Oklahoma, western or eastern New Mexico. So, you know, if you're out in that area tomorrow morning and overnight into the tomorrow morning, you're really going to see the winds start to pick up out there. Let's see if we get some gusts, you know, some 40-mile-an-hour gusts out there. So definitely want to be aware. Be aware of where you're at, situational awareness. If the winds are picking up, tune into some local weather stations, get what's going on out there. But like I said, tomorrow morning in the panhandle area of Oklahoma and Texas, eastern New Mexico, you're going to see some winds. And then you come out to the east tomorrow morning, you're going to see some winds coming off the lake, New York, and up into the New Hampshire or New England states. We're going to see a little bit of winds starting to pick up there. And then tomorrow afternoon, you know, the winds really start to intensify tomorrow afternoon. You're seeing the area grow, central United States from, you know, the panhandle of Texas, Oklahoma, up through Kansas, Nebraska, and South Dakota. You're starting to see some winds really starting to pick up there. You know, some of the gusts are going to be as high as 40 miles an hour. from the looks of it. So you just want to be mindful of that. If you're loaded light, make sure you slow down. If you're empty, you may want to consider pulling over or parking and waiting it out. That's what's going on with the winds. Let's take a look at rain and thunder precipitation, see what we got going. And as we look at it right now, as we talked about a little bit earlier, Donner Pass, we look out onto the west coast, and almost all of Oregon and northern California and northwestern Nevada is still getting snow. And you look around that Reno area where Donner Pass is I-80, heavy snows, lots of snow accumulation there. So be aware of that. Getting up in Idaho is seeing a little bit of snow. And then in the higher elevations of Utah and Colorado, some snow. The other areas that we're seeing snow is coming down out of North Dakota, northern Minnesota, catching northern Wisconsin, and most of Michigan. We're seeing some snow going on up there right now. And then when you get into the south central Wisconsin, you know, where the temperatures are just changing, we're starting to see a little bit of freezing rain and drizzle up there, and that's in the Green Bay area. And then also in the Detroit area. Coming over into Indiana and Ohio, looks like we're catching a little bit of precipitation there. But that freezing rain in eastern or western Pennsylvania is going to be an issue there, some freezing rain and drizzle in western Pennsylvania. So be aware of that if you're out in that area. As we kick into this afternoon, you know, the snow continues out west, especially around that Reno area, and shifts a little bit further south into California and a little bit further east into Nevada. Idaho and Wyoming still picking up a lot of snow. That band of snow showers that's going on up in Minnesota and Wisconsin has actually shifted to the north. But by this afternoon, that freezing rain that out in Pennsylvania has widened. And so almost all of northern Pennsylvania and southern New York, it looks like they're catching some freezing rain this afternoon. So really be aware of that. Be mindful of the temperatures. Watch the roads. If the spray stops happening, if the roads are wet and the spray stops happening, you know, it may be freezing. Watch your antennas to see if it rain or precipitation is freezing on that. And then that snow comes all the way over to Massachusetts and Rhode Island, that area. So do have some snow going on out east this afternoon. Going into the overnight, looks like Reno may catch a little bit of a break this afternoon, or this evening. Donner Pass looks like the snow has lightened up a little bit out there. The snow has definitely shifted to the west, and so now we're seeing most of eastern Utah and western Colorado, northern New Mexico getting snow over in the overnight hours. The snow that was up in Wisconsin and that area is shifted to the north, and so that means New Hampshire and Connecticut getting some snow overnight, and that freezing rain is shifted a little bit further east to where it's now in eastern New York and western Massachusetts. So let's be aware of the rain if we're out in that area up in the New England states this evening. Tomorrow morning, you know, snow is still out west, and it's intensified tomorrow morning. Reno is still expecting some snow, all northern California, all of Oregon tomorrow morning. Mid-morning we're going to see some. But we're also seeing some thunderstorms pick up in Missouri, northern Missouri, around the St. Louis area, into Illinois, Indiana. Some pretty heavy rains, the way it looks there, some pretty heavy thunderstorms going on there. And we'll also have freezing rain in central Iowa. It looks just about where I-80 runs across from Iowa City over to the Des Moines area. It looks like there's going to be, you know, just that area where we may see some freezing rain, and snow. So definitely be aware of that. And then up in the New England states, the snow has shifted a little bit to the north. Northern New York is catching some, and if you're going up into Maine tomorrow, definitely going to see some snow up there. And so temperatures, you know, temperatures overall are looking pretty decent. And we're going to back up to right now. You'll see the cold temperatures are out in the western, northwestern part of the United States. And so that's where your freezing rain and your snow is and everything. And you come to the overnight hours, that's where you see that cold really starting to shift down into as far south as Iowa and Nebraska. You're starting to see the freezing temperatures, you know, in the 15s, the 10 to 15 degree range. And then up in New England states, it's going to get really cold up there overnight. So, you know, temperatures are something to think about more during the evening, but as we saw during the day, we do have some freezing rain, so you definitely want to pay attention to what the temperatures are. Tune in to 511.org for if you want some road conditions and some weather conditions. With that, we'll take a short break.
Hey, everybody, and welcome back to BCB Live, the safest station in the nation. Wow. And you know what? The weather's going to be, is it just going to be hot all the way till next year? Is it just going to be 100 degrees in March? Because it was incredibly warm at my house. Yeah, I went for a walk yesterday afternoon with my wife, and I wore shorts, a t-shirt, and a baseball cap, and I was sweating.
Yeah.
No. I was. Not well. Okay. Yes, I'm fat, and and walking is a lot of exercise for me. But it was warm, right? I mean,
it was warm. It was warm. It was windy. So.
And did you enjoy the warmth at all? You weren't wearing like a jacket over there with your beanie hat, right? Were you, producer?
No. It was a little bit too warm for that. I spent a lot of time outside yesterday. It was great.
Did you? Oh yeah, you heard
it
you
was
do the
really
football,
nice,
right?
yeah.
You were football throwing, right? Did any touchdowns or
I
any
mean,
Tom Brady-esque moments? Did you have any Tom Brady-esque?
For sure. I was throwing the football. Eventually, it landed in a pile of dog poop, and we just stopped throwing the football after that. And so that was that.
No, that's good stuff, man. You wipe that off and keep going, right?
Yeah, it was a good day to be outside though in warm weather. It was just a great day yesterday, so I enjoyed the weather. And is it gonna be warm all the way through March? Somewhere, I just don't know where. So
please,
there you go.
I'll tell you what, I'm ready for a little bit of cool, and I heard this, the old tale. Oh, we need a freeze to get rid of all those bugs. Do you remember the freeze we had last year for 10 days straight where it almost killed everybody? Where
the power grid,
the power grid was down, and we had killed all my shrubs and bugs. The minute it got warm, everything was full of bugs. Just bug. So I'm not buying into that old adage anymore over bugs. Freeze for bugs. I'm like, yeah, okay.
Yeah, I think there's some winter-resistant strains of bugs out there now that handle that cold.
They're all winter-resistant. I have come to figure out all bugs are. They're just all figured it out. They know what to do. They know how to do it. And you know what? They're going to be fine. I mean, they've been here. Bugs have been here for millions of years, longer than we have, right? And I think they're going to figure it out.
Yeah, I think they've got it figured out. As you said, I mean, there's still bugs. So.
Hey, you know what though? I try to tell my wife says it to me all the time. She says, "Hey, I don't know. I don't like bugs. I don't like bugs." And I was like, "Well, you like flowers? You like flowers?" She was like, "I love flowers." I said, "Well, you wouldn't have any flowers if you didn't. There weren't bugs. There wouldn't be flowers." Yep. I'm just saying, you got to take the good with the bad, right?
Yep.
All right. What is our safety topic today?
This safety topic all week is going to be about inspections.
Inspections,
vehicle inspections. And we're going to start with this week with the pre-trip.
Have you ever done a pre-trip?
I have done a few pre-trips in my time. Yes.
Just asking. Have you ever actually done a pre-trip?
Yep. Yes, I did. I mean, when you take your driver's test, when I went and got my CDL for the first time, I had to do the pre-trip for them, and
It was the last time you did a pre-trip when you took your CDL test. You didn't have to do it ever
Ouch,
again.
That hurts.
Wow. Right. No, really. No, very important. Pre-trip is so important across the board. Pilots do their pre-trip of their aircraft. And you know what? It is the most fundamental man and machine, making sure that they're in sync. And I don't know how to explain that any more closer than that. It is important that you know their truck. I think that's one of the ways guys fall in love with their vehicles and fall in love with their trucks, and gals as well, is they get to know them instinctively, and
Oh,
part of
yeah.
that pre-trip is knowing even better, what may or may not be the problem.
And they start looking and they start looking deeper, and that's the thing that you talk about having that relationship. You start looking, eventually you do the walk by, and then all of a sudden as you get that relationship with your vehicle, you start looking deeper at it. You start checking the parts even
absolutely.
further down. I mean, which is great. I mean, you start, because at first you probably don't notice, are the U-bolts tight? Or they look like a shift, or the spring shifted or anything. And then after you start doing it and you really start looking for that stuff, and you have to look for the stuff that's not right. Now look for the stuff that is right. You want to look for the stuff that is not right and take care of it. And I say it all the time in orientation. The great thing about doing a pre-trip, a good pre-trip, if you find something wrong, get it fixed then, because it is so much cheaper, easier, and faster.
Oh,
I mean, than doing it out on the road.
Yeah, and you don't want to, and you know what, a good pre-trip as well, and you talk about it, I mean, it's a big deal. I mean, we mention it, it is just a big deal.
It's
as you
deal.
walk up to the truck, or as you're looking at, you look and see if there's something leaking, right?
Yep.
Oil's not where it normally is, pooling, or it's where it not normally is, or it was yesterday. Things happen, right? Seals leak, gaskets leak, things break, mechanical parts fail. It is the nature of the beast, and it is absolutely up to the driver to find those problems, not a mechanic, right? The mechanic is there. You don't go to the doctor, right, because you feel good, right? You go to the doctor because you feel bad, and it is very up to you, the driver, to ensure that the truck itself is not sick. And if it is, it's up to you to take care of it. It's your baby. It's your machine. It's the one that makes your livelihood. And I'm telling you how important it is that you know it. I mean, great drivers know when there's something wrong with their truck when they're driving down the road. They hear it, they feel it, they know it, they sense it, everything about it, and they know it when they hear it, just sometimes by the way it runs or the way it sounds or something. And I'm telling you, they're just a great partnership, right? And you've got to be good to your truck. I've always said trucks are like dogs. How you treat them is what kind of dog you're going to get. How you treat a dog is the kind of dog that you're going to treat it good. You're going to get a good dog. If you treat it bad, you're going to have a bad dog. Same way with a truck. You got to treat it good. If you treat it good, you're going to have a good truck. Even if you treat it bad and you don't take care of it, you're going to have a bad truck. You're going to say, oh, well, this truck's always falling apart. And I always look at the driver. Yeah, you need to be the one, the guy that is the frontline defender of the truck to make sure it gets fixed. All right, thank you very much. All right, you want to look at some videos?
Yeah, we do. Just a short four because there wasn't a whole lot of traffic over this past week, but we do have four.
Imagine that.
Yeah, look at this, and I like this one because this one, the driver's owning the space in front of him. I mean, he's just nice speed and space. He slows down, waits till the traffic starts pulling away, makes a nice, easy lane change there. Just does a lot of things right there. Great job in this one, driver. Again, just great patience, backing away. The driver could have, changed lanes. How many times do we see vehicles come roaring up behind him when the car's making a turn? See how close you can cut it. This driver just backs off, keeps that space out there, doesn't get in a hurry. Good patience in this one. So great video.
Oh yeah, nice slowing down.
Yeah.
They're going to stop. You don't know what they're going to do. You know what's nice? This truck could stop if it needed to.
Yeah.
This truck could absolutely stop in the space between that and the other vehicle. If for some reason that car couldn't turn in left, let's say somebody walked to the side or a bicyclist or something.
Or changes his mind. And how many times have we seen that?
Oh yeah, like that doesn't happen.
And again, we see tons of traffic, lots of traffic going on, and the driver is owning the space in front of him. Starts slowing down way ahead of time, doesn't try making quick lane changes, trying to find that fast lane. Just owns the space in front of him. Just great job here. We were talking about it earlier, that stop sign, and I love this one because it's a little two-lane. It's out in the middle of nowhere. This driver's probably been on this road 100 times. Still comes to a complete stop on this. And so, just appreciate it. Love showing videos like this, middle of nowhere, probably had great vision, probably could have rolled it because, hey, I don't see anybody to the left and right. But that's not the right thing. That's not the habit that you want to foster or get into. You want to stop for that stop sign every time. Driver does great job there. So
yeah, I'm almost tempted to show that video one more time, just so you know. I right here at the beginning, I'm telling you, I'm probably pulling over right here right about right now, I'm stopping and I'm getting out and I'm shooting a couple baskets right there before I continue on. I'm probably putting,
throw your four-way flashers on.
I'm putting some four-ways on. I'm shooting some threes right there. I'm dropping, all net from right here to two driveways back. I'm like sinking them into that. That's pretty cool, having the neighborhood.
I would love to see that too. We have a lot of things on the list that we need to see you do, which
Yes, I
includes
still wanna see that
doing a
race between-
kickflip in the parking lot, racing Bob, and shooting three-pointers. Those are all
you know
three
what?
on the list.
Just all day right here. Just a. I don't know. I'll tell you what. Great videos. We talk about it and we look at some of the videos. We're going to encounter some weird traffic this week because a lot of people are going to be returning home. Also, there's going to be people going to work. So you're going to get that mixed traffic, that a lot of impatient people out there trying to get back or trying to get where they're needed to be. Look, slow down and calm down. There's a lot of kids running around. They're at home.
Yep. And as we get to the
mindful.
end of this week, it's New Year's, and so we'll still see people going out, partying, probably driving when they shouldn't be driving, impaired. And so, that speed and space, being able to stop when you need to be able to stop, being aware of what's going on. We see crazy four-wheelers and trucks for that matter every day, but, a holiday like this, and New Year's is one of the 10 deadliest days for driving, so we just really be watching it.
And we'll talk about that as we get closer to the holidays, but I will emphasize that the rookies come out on New Year's, the revelers, that I call them the rookies because this is their time, time to shine. Some of us older guys, you know what? I'm not interested. First of all, it's okay to have a nice party, right? It's okay to be, but I just don't want a lot of people jumping around, bouncing around, throwing stuff on me and singing old lang syne. Those days, I think those days are gone for me. I don't know about you. How about you? I just don't want to.
Now, I found out a long time ago the New Year's coming, whether I'm up for it or not, whether, people are throwing stuff at me.
Yeah.
And so.
Yeah, I'm not, I think there was a time when I thought, Times Square was the place to be on New Year's. I do not have that feeling anymore at all. In fact, as far away from there as I possibly can. I don't even think they're doing it this year, right, producer? Because of COVID, right?
Yeah.
Is that correct? They're not doing it. They're not having a. Do you know? I'll tell you. I do know that a lot of places aren't doing certain things, and a lot of festivities have.
Oh yeah.
They're not doing because of COVID. I know that even some Christmas celebrations were closed because of COVID, and I know that some New Year's celebrations as well.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of bigger parties have backed out of it because they don't want to, get together as a group with the COVID. And by the same thing, the people hosting it, the restaurants and facilities can't host them because they have so many employees out with it right now. So yeah, I think it'll still be down. We'll still see the impaired drivers out that night. There's no doubt about it.
Yeah, there will. And what we have to do is be aware of what's going on. And you know what? 911 is what you dial. If you even think you see somebody impaired driving, get on the phone. Let's get them off the road, right? Let's get them away from killing somebody. Don't think it's somebody else's responsibility out there. If you see somebody, and we all know what an impaired driver looks like, right? 100%. And I'm telling you, it's okay. Call the police. Let's get them off the road because they will kill somebody. And we don't want that. We don't want that at all. Or they'll kill themselves, right? I'd rather them get in a little bit of trouble and survive and be alive today. And you know what? I'm sorry, but that's the way it is. We all know what drinking and driving does to our society. It is a killer. It is a big killer. It is a large part of why we have so many deaths a year in the United States, because people get behind the wheel after drinking and driving. And we've got to find a better way to do that.
Yeah, and behind the wheel, and then they get the phone out, besides to take that selfie or try texting while they're impaired. And so, I mean, they're just multiplying, the stupidity and the risk of killing somebody or getting in an accident.
So I was, we were talking, having this discussion about, remember we had all mentioned about the cars, the automobiles of the future, how they're going to have the technology in them that will be able to tell whether or not you've been drinking before you can even turn the key on in the future. My mom looked at me and said, as loud as you talk and as much as you talk anywhere in the car, it's not, you can't be a rider. You'll have to hang your head out the window because you'll set the sensors off and make it bad for everybody. Even the Uber driver won't be able to start their car because of you. I was like, wow, thanks, Mom. That was so sweet. But you know, I come from a family of loud talkers, so I'm okay with that.
And I'm okay with it. I'm hard of hearing, so it's easy for me to hear you.
All right, so let's go ahead and, you want me to go ahead and close it with prayer? All right, here we go. Dear Heavenly Father, we gather before you on this day to ask for your grace in all things. We ask for your help to make us better and safer as we go forth in the world. Father, give us the ability to change our lives and change the lives for someone else. Help us to be a blessing for someone. Help us to not only bless this world as you see fit, but also to bless another soul. Father, give us this ability, give us this courage and this want and this desire to want what we have and desire the things that we already cherish. Father, give us all these things in your name. Amen. All right, everybody, have a great and wonderful day. We will be on this afternoon. Be safe, be kind, and be special. We'll see you at 3